Hello, and welcome back to the Outer Worlds. We find ourselves on the beautiful world of Terra 1, on the satellite of uh, that is called Monarch. Um, yeah, we basically just arrived, trying to make sense out of this place, who is who and what is what. Well, you seem to be Velma.
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here and pack boxes herself if she's in such a hurry.
Who's Catherine? What are you talking about?
Sorry, seems I got my cables crossed. Thought you were another shakedown tough from Fallbrook. Hope you can forgive my temper. This job has been running me ragged lately. First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout, and now my chief pescatological health manager is missing.
Your chief what?
Braxton. He's in charge of getting the fish fat, but also making sure they don't get too many tumors. He's a real wizard with pharmaceuticals, but he has creative notions of working hours. Comes with living in a free colony, I guess.
Um, don't you have rules about that sort of thing?
We're not keen on rules for rules' sake around here. Means Braxton skips work sometimes, but it also means no company boss is telling me when I can take a shit.
These MSI types are living the dream.
Since you don't seem to be constrained yourself, maybe you could check up on him. He lives in the apartments. Tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might start noticing those extra drugs he's been taking from supply. Something else on your mind?
Who's Catherine you mentioned when I first came in here?
Sublight boss out of Fallbrook. Handles most goods that come in or out of Stellar Bay. Has a mouth like a ground six spacer.
Excuse me? You said Braxton had been stealing drugs?
Stealing's such a nasty word. Let's call it skimming.
Skimming.
And yeah,
Okay.
let's just say I've noticed the sterile biotics we use for the fish would get used a little faster on Braxton's shifts.
Why didn't you turn them in?
We're not like those corporate towns where you get fined for sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And Braxton knows how to get the salt tuna, fat, and mostly tumor-free.
Let's talk about Caleb.
Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his job again, I've got nothing to say.
Why can't you give him the pain? Why can't you give him pain increase?
I don't have the bits for it, plain and simple. Besides, if I make an exception for him, I gotta do the same for everyone.
Oh, they are hard workers, aren't they?
Hard workers? They turn dials and flip switches. The machines do all the actual work.
I'll wager she don't pay those folks that maintain the mechanicals decent neither.
Caleb and his crew have it better than anyone else around here, I'll tell you that much. If Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back to it. I'm about ready to hire sublight contractors at this rate.
Are you willing to meet Caleb halfway?
For running me ragged while he takes an extended leave at the bar? Not on your life.
Let's talk about something else.
Fine by me.
I'll talk to you later. It does not seem like they're missing this thing, so I'll be taking that. But you will be missing these mag peaks. Yeah.
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky.
No, I mean more than usual.
Wouldn't know. I made it a point to stay out of her way.
There was a staircase, yes, that we can take somewhere upstairs. Velma's container key. Okay, personal files. I don't have hack. Damn it. Who gave me the hack? It was Max, right? Messages. Hexed. Braxton, the fish in tank 23A are looking a little lumpy. If you're not going to make it in, that's fine, but you have to let me know so I can stay on top of the doses. Mr. Nandy, we really need to talk about the Saltuna situation. I've had to let 4 batches rot in the warehouse over the last 2 months because we're not finding buyers. I know the situation with the board puts us in a tough spot, but we need to start thinking about how we're going to keep Stella Bay afloat if we can't get sales up. Seriously, where are you? You've missed 3 shifts. This is getting ridiculous, even for you. Well, I might not have her passcode.
Wow, you got that.
Okay, signed tossball thing. Money and ammunition. Check with Celia. Oh, that was the card that I was hunting. Okay. Oh, that was supposed to be a poster, right? So that was not a card. Okay, some residents here and there. Oh, probably that would be stealing. Of course it will be. Left field tossball betting. Sure thing. No.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest tossball games. So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial H Mammoths.
I'm not really here to chat about teams.
That's a shame. Tossball's just about the only good news we get around here. When our frequency's not too clogged up anyway.
You get to listen to games all day? Stellar Bay really is a paradise.
It's pretty swell, but it's a whole lot better with company. Say, I don't think I've seen you before, and I'd remember that face.
I'll try not to be a stranger then. Name's Felix, by the way.
You should stop by more often. The games are always better when you've got someone to celebrate with.
Sounds like a good time. I wouldn't mind bringing a couple drinks and settling in for the pennant match.
Look at me, getting carried away again. So, what can I do for you?
You said you were having trouble receiving the tossball game transmissions?
Graham's always filling the airwaves with this propaganda. Like it's done him any good. All it means is the tossball games get to us in fragments. Makes them real hard to watch.
Okay. Constable. Which is closed, by the way. What's that place? There is no one. Just a bunch of ammunition lying here and there. Alright. Why did I do that? Oh, seriously. Yeah. So... Ah, it's the dispensary. Supply room key. Okay. Employee login. Create new account. Okay. I am lacking hack, which is sad. But I don't see that being fixed in the near future. Okay.
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't believe I've seen you before. And with sweet cheeks like those, I'd remember. What can Auntie Abigail do for you?
Oh, you were first nice, but now you're creepy and your scar is exactly as all the constables in this game. I've been asked to pick up a caffeinoid supplement.
And what a helpful young man you are. Nothing like a little pill to liven up the spirits. Who's your lucky friend, dearie?
It's private?
Now, there's no keeping secrets from Auntie Abigail. I'll tease it out of you one way or another. Also, I really do have to enter someone's name for the allotment. After all, I have to keep track of where our little pills wander off to.
Why don't you just write down my name as lots of bids? I suppose that's reasonable.
Indeed. Now, how about you tell Auntie who this pickup's for?
It's for Nyoko.
Oh, her.
Yep.
It's none of my business, but I have told her Dr. Williams would bump up her monthly allotment if only she'd join MSI. Contribute like the rest of us. Now I've gone and said too much. And you know me, dearie. I don't like to pry.
Of course. When can she get her next dose?
I'm afraid it'll be the better part of a month. Our dear Nyoka tends to exhaust her supply rather quickly. Believe me, there's nothing I'd love better than to help you, but there's not much I can do. Dr. Williams managed the town's allotments from his terminal upstairs. Even I can't access them.
I thought you were in charge around here, auntie. You sure ought to be.
Oh, you flatter an old woman. Me, I'm just here to be a pretty face for the customers. And to keep an extra key to the supply room for all the times Dr. Williams misplaced his.
Forgetful fell away.
Careless experimentation with medicinal substances does take its toll, eventually.
Where can I find this, Dr. Williams?
In the town graveyard, I'm afraid. Poor man was always searching for the flower of enlightenment. On the way, he tried some rather daring substance combinations.
The flower of enlightenment?
It's a philosophist symbol of some kind, dearie. Never you mind. The graveyard's near the southern ruins. You're certainly welcome to pay our respects, but the bodies tend to attract beasties.
You're gonna go tussle with some raptidons? Because I've been practicing my dropkick.
Do be careful. I'd hate for anything to happen to you, dearie.
Okay.
Chin up, dearie.
I guess we can always nick the key from her. I would like to hope that is a viable option with my sneak skills. But maybe we can nick it from the body of Dr. Williams. Well, not the key, maybe log in and everything.
Help! Someone's been killed! I think I'm gonna be sick.
Are you alright?
No! I just stepped in a dead man's blood. And I think one of the flies landed on my mouth. If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go contemplate a hot shower.
Why do I have a feeling it might be Braxton?
Oh, sorry. Just spooked me, was all.
A murder? Hey, is this the part where we go hunting for clues?
Yes. Several ragged outfits, all of the same cut and color, were stuffed into this suitcase. Tossball betting slip. The betting slip lists some increasingly bold wagers made for a team called Mostly Colonists. It's from left field tossball betting. Okay. Hunting rifle Ultra 204. And you do have extend the sight and you do have a barrel modifications. Oh, I love it. Messages to Nandi. Mr. Nandi, sorry to bother you about this, but something foul is leaking from the apartment upstairs. I don't know what Celia's keeping up there, but she works for you, right? Do you think you could talk to her about it? Isaac, can you please try to keep your windows shut? As I've tried to explain, leaving them open, especially when you've got food out, invites mantis swarms, and the mantis swarm infestation is everyone's problem. Hext. Braxton, I know you keep odd hours. I know because I've heard you coming and going at all times of the day and night, haha. But maybe you could try to close your door a little more quietly? I've rather sensitive nerves, and every time I hear your door, I think we're in the middle of another amber hide. Oof.
Whatever you do, don't mention tossball to Isaac. You'll never hear the end of it.
You know, I haven't seen him in a while.
If you'd gotten stuck in an hour-long rant about mostly colonists, you'd be thankful.
Okay, it does actually play the music. I can appreciate it when you pick a music box and it does play music. I mean, wow. I mean, that's amazing. Is it not? Water. Dropping a care package off with the Mathers in the old ruins south of Stella Bay. Be back soon. Laura, I know you're reading this. Stay out of my things.
You startled me. Don't sneak up on a person like that, huh?
Oh, and I cannot talk to her, okay. Maybe because I already picked up the sleep. Chef Raymond. And Everett Gill.
Good day to you.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. I just about pissed my jumpsuit.
Excuse me? Get a grip. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you.
Most people don't.
We're used to folks swooning at our feet. You don't gotta be embarrassed.
A healthy survival reflex is nothing to be embarrassed about. Besides, this place is enough to try anyone's nerves.
How's that?
Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the rat spewing acid at our walls? The board was right. This place isn't fit for human habitation. And I was a fool for staying.
Well, why did you decide to stay in the first place?
Sanjar, of course. He had all these glorious ideas about how he'd run Monarch. Rest periods between every work shift. No shift more than 10 hours long. It all sounds wonderful, until you realize there's only a few centimeters of repurposed steel between you and the deadliest creatures in the galaxy.
Seems like you'd want more than centimeters.
I could do with a few kilometers of cold vacuum, but that spaceship is flown.
Ever thought about leaving Stella Bay then?
Only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, we don't exactly get ships on a regular basis, yours notwithstanding. And even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean reaching Fallbrook without getting eaten, shot, or dissolved into green goop, what then?
Yeah, why don't you just tell me?
Nothing. That's what. Because MSI is not in what you'd call good standing with the board. So even if I could get out of here, no one's gonna hire me.
That sounds rough.
Even talking about it has my blood pressure up. I've really gotta stop.
My engineer's looking to get a dustback casserole. Can you cook one of those?
That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back, before the board tucked tail and ran. These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
Oh, yikes. I can't cover this much, Captain.
I'll get back to you on that.
Sure, just let me know. Lucky you.
I can pay 3,000. That should not be a big problem. I just need everybody's help on intimidation stats, and then maybe I can pull it off. Do I have? Yeah, I have intimidation +3. So I have some options. I can give it a try. Okay, let's see what else do we have here. This should be just an ammo box. Just not that interested in ammunition, so Zhang Shuren.
Well, well. The only new folk I ever see in town are sublight runners from Fallbrook. But you don't look like one of Catherine's. What can I get you?
Well, let's check out your...
All sales are final, unless you threaten me. I'm kidding. Don't threaten me.
I do not see unique weapons. I do not see unique armor. I do not see a lot of modifications either. So yeah, this is the administration building.
Wrapped musk and canid eyes, right here. Hello, stranger. Can I interest you in raptidon tongue? Or maybe some canid toenails?
Ew,
You
why?
look like a man who's looking for some mostly fresh animal parts?
How so? Why would I want any of that?
I don't know. Celia usually buys whatever I have, and Mr. Pickett seemed real interested. So I thought maybe I was onto something.
Mr. Pickett? Franklin Pickett from Edgewater?
That's him. He'd been here years, but he always talked about going back to Edgewater one day.
You know who's he talking about?
Sure. Mr. Pickett used to run the community center outside Edgewater. He had this grand idea to make it a museum for halcyon life. As my dad told it, Mr. Pickett was always going on about getting a manta queen for the last display. He left the Vale, gosh, years ago.
He came to Stellar Bay years ago, just before the board cut us off. Ended up stuck here. He was always real interested in our monsters. Manta queens, especially.
Have you seen a mantiquin?
Sure, they're real big. Hard to miss them.
Where have you seen a mantiquin?
Well, I could send you to the same place I sent Mr. Pickett, but I haven't seen him in a few weeks. To tell true, I'm starting to get a bit worried about him.
Captain, can we look for him? I'd feel awful if somebody from home was in trouble and we didn't do nothing.
Tell you what, I'll tell you where I sent Mr. Pickett if you promise to look for him. Help him out if he's got himself in trouble. Fair deal?
Huh. Sure, I can keep an eye out of him.
All right then. Leave town through the southern gate, the one right here, and head past the abandoned ruins. Last mannequin I saw was in the wilds out that-a-ways. Could be Mr. Pickett still out there too.
Let's see what you have.
Oh, good. Celia hasn't come by in a few days, so I haven't sold much.
You have some meat, chitin, flank hide, gland, carapace, and cystic tumors. Okay. Are you okay?
Please, will someone help me? My boy's in trouble. Oh, thank you for stopping. Everyone acts like nothing's wrong, like my little boy isn't at risk of being eaten by some vile creature. Please, you have to help me get my little Tucker back. He ran away and is going to get himself killed. Oh, I just know a raptidon is melting him with acid as we speak.
Your child's missing?
Oh, I just knew you were a good person. Agnes, I said, this is the man to save your little Tucky. And I was right. He ran out into the wilderness a few days ago. I warned him about the raptidons, mantisaurs, and marauders, the toxic sulfur pools, and poisonous plants, but he didn't listen.
Oh, law, Captain. A youngster won't last long in a place like this. Please, can't we help?
This feels like a trap.
Won't you go and find my boy?
That feels like such a trap. Why would he run away?
He's been pining for an adventure. Says he's tired of living cooped up behind the walls. But he doesn't understand how dangerous it is out there. I warned him. A raptidon would snap him up first chance it got. I just know one's ripped his arm off and is gnawing on his sweet little fingers. He should have listened to his mama. I promised I'd keep him safe here with me.
Yeah. Really feels like a trap, as if she's pushing too hard on this. My child is in danger.
He's been listening to those awful broadcasts that the iconoclasts put out. I begged Sanjar to put a stop to them, but did he? No! And now I just know my boy's run off to Amber Heights. That is, if a mantiqueen hasn't spooled out and eaten his entrails for breakfast already.
Where is Amber Heights?
That old settlement, southwest of Stellar Bay. I don't know which is worse, the thought of my son shacking up with the nutty iconoclasts, or that he never made it. Sprats could be nesting in his rotting body alongside the road as we speak. Or maybe marauders got him, pulled all his teeth out, crushed him into their drugs and made him snort them. Oh, the things that could happen to my sweet baby.
What were you saying about the iconoclasts?
Those low-life degenerates, leading innocent boys into a life of danger. Oh, they make it sound so exciting. Like it's noble to risk it all out there, fighting for the greater good.
Not sure I'm seeing the problem here.
You're one of them, aren't you? You should be ashamed of yourself, young man. Just as your mama would be. How noble is it to worry your loved ones? Not at all, I say. But still they preach their sermons of anarchy and rebellion to anyone who'll listen. If they weren't holed up in Amber Heights, I'd knock them all upside the head.
I'll help you find your son.
Thank you. Oh, I know he'll be safe now that someone's able to fetch him home. You look for him in Amber Heights, you hear? It's down the road southwest of town. I'm sure he made it that far. I just know it.
And if you find any of them iconoclasts indoctrinating my boy, you punch them in the mouth. Tell them what I think of them luring little boys away from their mamas. It's immoral.
Yeah, I'm terribly sorry, but she feels so clingy to the boy.
What was your family like, Felix? Did you ever know him?
I never knew him. I was a stowaway. That's what they call orphans who grow up in the back bays.
Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. That must have been lonesome.
Come on, Parvati, who you talking to? Imagine me pining after my family. Yeah, I suppose that was a touch lonesome. But hey, look at me now. I made it. I got a ship and everything.
Not your ship.
Have you had time to check on that poster yet? I keep wondering if it's come in.
It is.
Would you look at that? The Rizzo's logo is nice and bright, and you can still smell the ink on Mr. Holcomb's signature. I can't thank you enough. Still, you can have the bits I was going to spend at the bar this week. And you know what? Take my old tossball blocker too. Never get the chance to use it these days.
Okay. Is it some unique stuff? Oh, it does have a corrosion damage.
Why don't you grab a chair, sit a spell, and revel with us?
We need to talk about Velma.
Sure thing. What did you want to discuss?
Velma's threatening to replace you with sublight contractors.
Nope. I'm calling her bluff. If she wants to threaten us, we'll see how she likes it when Sanjar finds out she gave Sublight even more dominion in Stellar Bay.
How long can you afford to miss work?
Not forever, but we've each saved up our bits, and I stashed them safe in my home by the diner. I reckon we could last a week or two at least.
I'll talk to you later. A diner, you say? Radio Free Monarch? The hell? Yeah. Have I not been there? And what's Don't Bite the Sun? Oh, it's about, yeah. Stainless steel rats. The last row of, yeah, okay. So we do have an administration building right over here that I'm still trying to escape because I do not wish to.
Smells like wrapped in here.
Oh, it does work. I bought some musk from Sebastian.
Yeah. I do not wish to like proceed with the main part of this settlement for now.
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but
Gosh, this old girl's in a rough way. Even old Bess in Edgewater was in better shape than this.
hey, you want to try running a cannery with obsolete machinery? You be my guest.
Sorry, ma'am. I wasn't trying to be rude. It's just your flanging apparatus isn't making a strong flange, so your sealer isn't sealing right, and...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Huh. I'll have to try that. Anyway, what do you folks need?
Let's talk about Caleb.
Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his job again, I've got nothing to say. If Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back to it. I'm about ready to hire sublight contractors at this rate. Fine.
Here to catch a game? I'm afraid the transmission's still pretty bad. What can I do for you?
I found this betting slip in a dead man's apartment. Any idea what might have happened to him?
Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few days. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth.
I'm listening.
Right. So the thing with Isaac is he didn't know where to stop. He'd get stuck on something, and he just couldn't let it go. Sometimes he'd drink purpleberry punch by the liter. Other times he'd keep betting on a losing team. Started owing the wrong people money.
So who did he owe?
I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball games. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them.
Thanks for the tip.
Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do.
So, alleyway behind the yacht club. So that's the diner he's been Caleb was talking about, right? Well, that's the diner, that's not Caleb's house. Well, it's not one of these either. Or one of these. It points me here. Right over there, actually? Huh.
Not a peep for me.
Wow, nice work.
Ah.
So what'd you think of the game last night? I still can't believe Armstrong ran the field from the Tuesday zone.
Yeah. Armstrong's really something. Nearly took a fella's head clean off with a tossball stick.
Yeah, well, he's a hacker. That's what they do. Rangers don't show a shred of mercy in a Darlings game. Bates got tossed out of the game for excessive sportsmanlike conduct in the third half. Serves him right.
Yeah. Felix, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what a Tuesday zone is. I don't know my tenders from my forwards. Thing is, I just don't understand tossball.
Hey, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'll teach you all there is to know.
Great. That's just swell. Can't wait.
Now we're going to deal with bandits over here, as it seems.
Who the fuck are you? This ain't your alley.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is our secret alley. Berta already pissed by those crates to market.
Okay. I know you murdered Isaac.
Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it coming. Not that anyone has proof. And not that it's any of your business.
Fine, let's just forget this ever happened.
I don't think so. You're a loose end now.
Incoming!
Go.
Everyone all right?
Now, can I did find this tossball stick, right?
Did you know?
And it says Elijah, so...
Miss Tennyson? Nah, she never looked my way. I knew of her, though. Who didn't? She was just about the busiest woman on the Groundbreaker.
What did folks say about her then?
Tough. Competent. Had a glare that'd stop you dead in your tracks.
Yeah.
Stainless steel rats. Can I report the evidence to the administration? Oh.
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's properly logged.
I'll note it next to the others, sir. Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries, producers and purveyors of the finest salt tuna in Halcyon. What can I do for you today?
What was that exchange about? You had money trouble?
Or is he not paying you on account of how he tried to fix the thing his own self and busted it even worse, and then said you wasn't fixing it fast enough, so he's docking your wages again? Not that I got any prior experience with such.
Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on Raptidon acid.
Do you normally blow your money on Raptidon pots?
Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really.
Why?
So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else.
Oh, no.
I reckon she's got a little bit of a squish on this fella.
Oh, yeah, I
He's
think?
sort of the strong, silent type. Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff. And some of the neighbors are complaining about the smell.
Just ask him on a date.
I couldn't. What if he says no? Hey, maybe you could ask him for me. I mean, a no would still be bad, but it won't be quite as embarrassing if you ask. Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes through his nose real slowly. I'd better get back to work.
Wait, I'm curious. What do you see in Sebastian?
He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that you have no idea about. Plus, he's got great legs. It's hard to find a man who doesn't skimp on lower body exercises.
That's all I need to know.
Sorry, Sometimes I get carried away.
I'll talk to you later. And Mr. Boss.
Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
I've
What?
often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
That's very generous of you.
Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very generous.
Noted.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Rizzo's, perhaps? Or Auntie Cleo herself?
Me, I'm chatting my own path, going where the wind takes me.
What a charming notion. One doesn't meet many free spirits in Halcyon. Not outside Tartarus prison, anyway. Forgive me, I'd be positively enraptured. Only, I take it this means you aren't here for Saltuna.
Nope. Afraid not.
Oh, a shame. I'd been saving a bottle of iceberg-aged whiskey for an occasion like this.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional erotic and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board.
Well, he wants to trade with them probably, but yeah, let's ask it.
'Cause he's scared to go it alone. You need the board to hold your hand and tell you everything's gonna be okay. Ain't that right?
Surviving alone isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
And you're tired of scrounging and scraping by, is that it?
Yes, freedom is a tempting ideal, but a rather costly paramour.
Can't imagine why you'd sneer
but
at the
true.
notion of a free colony. Could it be because you're an agent of the establishment?
I used to be young and idealistic too, but you can't run a city on high-minded ideals.
That is actually so sad, but so true. If you're an idealistic politician, you probably are a bad politician. Unless you're a populist. But then you're just like a lying piece of crap. So what do you mean to do about it?
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
But will that help the people here, Mr. Sanjar? Keep them fed and safe?
That's precisely what I'm trying to do.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
Enough preamble. What's the plan?
It's a two-pronged approach. The first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended.
Fine, but how do you mean to do that?
With a Bolt 52 cartridge, of course. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
So what's this Bolt 52?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance.
I was starting to get bored listening to you, till you said the phrase extremely powerful ordnance.
It is quite the rush.
Ordinance or ordnance?
An ordinance, of course. We do things in a civilized fashion here, not like Graham's iconoclasts.
There's nothing the board likes so much as paperwork.
Can a legal document really be that important?
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you just crawled out from under a rock. Forms and procedures are everything in Halcyon. And this one is located in the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in. And these days, it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
Damn it. Okay, then I guess I'll go get you boat 52.
Do be careful. I've lost more than a few people to marauders and raptidons out there. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Before I go, I need to ask you about something.
What can I do for you?
I met Grim, the landing pad guard.
I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff?
He did a bang-up job.
Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you?
I'm looking for an information broker.
Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate.
How do I get there?
You'd head south along the road and look for a mountain to the west. Not that I'd advise it. It's a terribly dangerous trek. But if you insist on going, I'd recommend taking a local guide. Nyoka would be a prime candidate.
If you can keep her sober.
I have questions about MSI and the good old days.
Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes.
How did MSI get kicked off the board in the first place?
I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
Do you mean you initiated your own removal from the board?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2, but back then it was known as Terra 1.
What happened to the other corporations?
As you may have noticed, this planet has more than its share of hazards. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
But not MSI, right?
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up.
How forward-thinking of you.
It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Word of advice, Sanjar. If Parvati's got something to say, you do well to listen close.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
Okay. Who's this us and we you keep talking about?
Oh, well, there were surely other junior executives with more open minds, though none of them had the temperament to handle the paperwork.
Who are we talking about? You are being cagey.
But I was keeping my tone flat and maintaining eye contact. You weren't supposed to notice I was avoiding the subject.
This is why you've never been good with presentations, sir.
Very well. Many, many years ago, Graham Bryant and I used to be collaborators, of sorts.
Who?
Graham Bryant. He leads a group of extremists out in Amber Heights. But he used to be as much a part of the corporate machinery as any of us. Much as he likes to forget it.
So he helped you make your case to the senior executives.
Indeed. For all the good it did. MSI's then leadership wasn't enthusiastic. They insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else.
Yet here you are.
Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
But why would they do that?
I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws.
Your first mistake was expecting the board to cut you a fair deal.
I understand the sentiment, but if we can't rely on some sort of framework, then what do we have? I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
What's the hazard clause?
It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
But wait, what happens to the folks stuck on the wrong side of dangerous?
I'm afraid the welfare of a few hundred people is too minor a figure into the board's risk assessments.
And they invoked it on Monarch.
Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way.
You don't seem to think much of Graham.
He and his followers call themselves the Iconoclasts. Lawless anarchists, all of them. If anyone on Monarch deserves the reputation the board's pinned on us, it's them.
They've got strong feelings on me. Maybe you should give them a chance.
A chance? They've been doing this for years. And well, let's just say I know enough about Graham to be confident that he won't change. It isn't just that they drain our people and resources. Every radical act they commit cements Halcyon's image of us all as destructive rebels and pushes us further from the rest of the colony.
So, what's the downside?
Shall I begin with the supply shortages or the subtle but constant threat of annihilation? He's lucky the board doesn't take him seriously enough to keep more than a few UDL gunships patrolling Monarch.
An Earth Directorate assault cruiser would change his tune. It's almost a shame we haven't seen one around Monarch in a long while.
Why exactly do you want to back on the board?
Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Yeah, and once you go back to him, he'll own your dignity too.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation.
Well, I really can't fault him for the practicality.
Indeed. We've got to consider realities, not ideals. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Leverage?
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes. It'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations.
So you used to work with Graham. Why not mention it earlier?
As far as I'm concerned, the less said about Graham, the better. Graham seemed like a reasonable man years ago, and we both agreed that MSI's treatment of its workers was untenable. I thought reforms would be enough. I didn't realize you wanted to abolish the corporate system entirely.
I want to talk
What
about
can I do
something
for you?
else. So, this guy is the boss, yet I cannot report to him the crime, right, and present the evidence. Personal files for Sanjar, a summary report on conditions within Stella Bay. Productivity has continued to improve since relaxing MSI's old restrictions and making allowances for employee benefits such as time off for illness and personal leave, 24.9% reduction in shift length, and 52.3% more positive feedback. Fishery output is up 15.2% this year, showing a continuing but slowing growth trend. Decreased gains compared to previous years are likely due to the deterioration of materials and morale, occasional shortfalls in our supplies, and the granular loss of personnel to marauders, 7.2%, hostile wildlife, 10.3%, and iconoclast recruitment, 17.4%. Reconciliation with the board remains a long-term goal, but the immediate concern is defending the city from hostile elements. Repairing damage to the city walls consumes approximately 32.8% of our annual budget. The best solution would be an influx of skilled defenders and weaponry, but given the aforementioned factors and their effect on the local population, such a solution remains unlikely. Working slogans. MSI, our profit margins are stellar. MSI sold tuna, 43.28% more nutrient-dense than the leading brands. Stella Bay, a tolerable center of commerce in a hostile and chaotic galaxy. Notes for revisions. Your report looks excellent, the numbers are front and center, and you highlight our recent production gains nicely. One small adjustment, could you increase the page margins by 17.3%? I want them to match the formatting of our other reports for maximum readability. Note to Otto. I've been checking your hours and you're well past due for some time off. Why don't you take a few days? You spend entirely too much time staring at the terminal. Sanjar. I thought there should be some ship decoration somewhere around here. Yeah, they're staring right at me. That's not an option. Review guidelines for annual self-review. Select font for annual self-review. Format. Format review. Schedule time to write review. Write review. Tell Celia she's doing an excellent job.
Why don't you grab a chair, sit a spell, and revel with us? Sure thing. What did you want to discuss?
Bad news. You don't have the savings you think you do.
What? Something happened to our stashed bit carts? But I hid it so careful. No one saw me put the lockbox on my balcony. No one goes up there but me. We must be dealing with some sort of criminal mastermind. Well, if we can't afford to skip work, we ain't got no leverage. Space me, but good. I guess you ought to tell Velma we're coming back to work.
Criminal mastermind? I am.
So here's the thing about tossball. Tossball is played from the heart.
Okay, I'm with you so far. Play from the heart. Easy.
There are other schools of thought. Some say you gotta use your head to play tossball. Most people have concussions.
Oh, gosh. That sounds, really dangerous.
Didn't give you a hard time.
Tossball's a celebration of danger. Take the hacker. The hacker's job is to trample right through the enemy's defense. Best hacker in the league's a fella by the name of Take It Easy Tatum. 59 injuries to his name in 3 non-consecutive seasons.
Why do they call him Take It Easy Tatum?
Oh, that's what the mediators used to shout out every time he'd go into a bloodthirsty frenzy.
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but I'm up to my elbows in salt tuna guts. Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his job again, I've got nothing to say.
Caleb and his crew will return to work immediately.
Sweetest words I've heard all day. Thanks for your help. You've gotten me out of a tight spot here. Take this for your efforts. Honest work deserves honest pay. Something else on your mind?
I thought you had no money. Okay, never mind then. I really would like to see some constable here. Because I believe I've seen the sign somewhere. Right here. And yet there is no constable. Can I by chance report this to Grim?
You think maybe you could get some of your friends to land here too? Gets real quiet.
No. That's too bad. That's really too bad. I have a very good persuasion skill right now, right? 72. Well, it's not super good, but it's good. Some of you do not give me extra. Oh, you give me extra engineering. Okay.
Who the Hey! Berta!
I know you murdered Isaac.
Listen, and not that...
I found your tossbow stick. This is all gonna catch up with you, Elijah.
How? That was supposed to go out with the next batch of salt tuna. What are you suggesting, pal?
You're finished. Leave Stella Bay before people here run you out on a rail.
Fine. This pissant town ain't worth it anyway.
Well. And now we can talk to Sanjar.
Here's the other thing about Tossball. Tossball is all about scoring goals.
Scoring goals, got it. And you can score a goal by kicking the ball, throwing the ball, or
running it into the Saturday goal if you're a visitor. Or the Sunday goal if you're on the home team.
Okay, so if you're on the home team, you want to run the ball into the Sunday goal? Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
You can also kick it, that's called a foot goal. Or throw it, that's called a hand goal. Running's worth more points, but it's got some risks. You could get cleaved, hacked, winged, bronzed. You could tumble the ball in the Wednesday zone, also known as getting humped.
Felix, are we still talking about toss ball, or...?
Well, yeah. What'd you think we were talking about?
This game is ridiculous. The tossball, that is.
A fine day for business, isn't it?
Yeah, you had a
Anyway,
murder.
What can I do for you?
Isaac Rose is dead. I found the people who killed him.
But that's terrible. What happened?
It was Elijah and his hooligan friends. I ran them out of town.
I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite a bit of trouble around town. I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with them eventually.
Absolutely.
Of course I would have. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. Please consider this payment for your services.
I've got to go. Let's see. Don't bite the sun. I need intimidation. Oh yeah, I might want to talk with Sebastian. I might need some intimidation for that though. If we switch to the region map, we have quite a number of stuff over here. Secret people. What's the secret people about? Oh, about Braxton, of course. This would be a family matter. Yeah, okay. Mr. Pickett, okay. And then, like, this is the Fallbrook area. Oh, this would be the Max quest, right? Right. And then, we can right now have a small chat with Sebastian, I believe.
You look like a man who's looking for some mostly fresh animal parts?
Let's talk about Celia.
Huh. I haven't seen her in a few days, but I've been meaning to ask her how that Raptidon acid is working out. I hope it's working okay, because no one else really seems interested in this stuff.
Would you consider going on a date with her?
Wait, I see what's going on. She put you up to this so she could get a discount, hmm?
Oh, no, that's not it at all. She's smitten with you. You smited her. Smote? Smoot?
Don't get me wrong. I'd like to give her a discount. She's a real fine lady. Always talks nice and slow, so I understand. But if I give her one, I won't hardly make a bit, on account of no one else having any use for Raptidon tongues.
Oh, you buffoon. Don't take my word for it. Spend some time with her. I promise she won't ask for a discount.
You sound pretty sure. And she is awful nice.
Give her a chance. Give yourself a chance. Take her someplace nice.
Okay, I'll do it. Once her shift ends, we'll go someplace nice. Maybe to Chef Raymond's.
That's the spirit, Sebastian. Be yourself. Between you and me, Captain, I'm not sure Miss Celia knows him too well, but we can hope, right? I want them to be happy.
So, as usual, first 5 goes to my sneak, because I really need to whack enemies. What about my hack? Nah, for hack and lockpick, I can use my companions. So, I like that I get like a lot from persuasion. That's really very nice. But I think I will be going with science and engineering. Now I can deliver the news to you.
Have you talked to Sebastian yet? What did he say?
He said he'll go on a date with you.
Okay, but how did he say it? Did he sound excited? Or like he was just agreeing to it? Was he like, yay, a date with Celia. I've secretly been waiting for this. Or was it more, sure, I don't have anything else going on?
He likes you, Celia, just don't ask him for any discounts.
Not to worry. If I never buy another Raptidon tongue, it'll be too soon. Ah, look at me going on. I'm sure you've got other things to do, and Mr. Nandi's giving me that back-to-work look. Anyhow, thank you.
I would like to briefly check something. Where does this thing lead me to? Oh, so basically just outside. Yes, it is just outside. That's slightly disappointing. Let's see.
You ever seen a real-life Saltuna?
What do you mean live? Saltuna comes in cans?
Felix, Saltuna is a kind of fish. Lives in the ocean. You knew that, right?
You serious? You tell me there's a fish made entirely out of Saltuna?
Never mind. I'll tell you later.
So, who has a proper intimidation skills? Yeah, more medical, sure. Let's see. Why medical engineering? Not exactly what I want. Felix. Persuade. Yeah, okay. You're probably also persuade. Yes. Vicar Max. You have intimidate. And I believe Sam also has intimidate. Yes. So Sam and Vicar. Now let's revisit the chef and check how that's going on. Because now my intimidation is 65. That ought to be enough.
I wonder where I picked up this stain.
Washburn, on.
No, no, no! Don't you dare point that hose at me, you rusted bucket of bolts!
I see you stuck around.
Is that dust bag casserole still
If
available?
you got the bits, check the menu for the latest prices. Inflation's terrible out here.
You take me for an idiot? No damn casserole's worth that much. Try again, try harder.
Whoa, hold on, Okay. Leak contained. My stars. Look, Captain. This is the best I can do without putting myself out of business.
2000. Well, this is 30% decrease, so I'm glad you saw reason.
I'm mighty glad you reckon so. This is gonna take about an hour in the oven. Nothing I can do to speed it. That's just how cooking works. There we are. Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
Will Sam have anything to say about the dead body? No? Alrighty then. Now, that was actually nice. So, we've closed this quest. And now we can go and explore Monarch because there are some buildings here and there. Then there are some buildings over there a little bit to the right over here, some buildings here, some family matter. I don't know what the hell is this. Then some stuff to here, a big Fallbrook settlement. So we have quite some stuff on Monarch. That looks like a terraforming thing, by the way, as well as this one. Yeah, quite the stuff to do. And we will do it, but in the following episode. For now, thank you so much for staying with me. I hope you enjoy my company and my gameplay. If that's the case, then please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel, or otherwise let me know down in the comments what I can improve for you. Hope to see you next time. Have a nice day out there, and bye.